Jack pedals swiftly through the quiet suburban streets, his legs pumping with anxious energy. His oversized thick glasses keep slipping down his nose, and he pushes them back up with a shaky hand. Today, he'll finally confess his feelings to Jill, the woman of his dreams that owns the most beautiful piercing green eyes, with long straight hair and thin figure and a face that resembled actress Megan Fox. Today, after I give Jill some flowers I stole from Miss Johnson's garden, she will melt into my arms, Jack mutters to himself, his voice quivering with nervousness and hopeful anticipation. She will give me my first kiss and be my girlfriend forever. His imagination runs wild, picturing the beautiful scene in vivid detail, the surprise on Jill's face, her appreciative smile, and the warmth of her lips against his. I'm going to make Jill mine once and for all, Jack declares, his voice full of desperate determination. Jack skids to a halt in front of the Botanica store called Rose Paradise, where he has worked with Jill for 5 years. Jack hastily secures his bicycle with a sturdy chain and padlock. His heart races with anticipation as he does an awkward little dance, nervously tugging on his suspenders. He is finally going to see Jill. As he peers through the glass window, Jack's eyes light up at the sight of her. Jill, radiant and smiling, glances his way as if acknowledging his presence. For a brief moment, Jack imagines how he's going to impress her and she will fall into his arms. His cheeks flush with the thought of their first kiss, then disaster strikes. Just as Jack is about to step inside the store, his eyes fall upon Perry, his tormentor from school. Perry swaggers over to Jill and, to Jack's horror, gives her a passionate kiss right in front of his eyes. Jack's world crumbles as he watches the woman he adores embrace the very guy he hates. With his vision turning red with rage, Jack squeezes the bouquet of roses tightly, feeling the petals crumbling and tearing apart in his trembling hands. His breath grows heavier, and his chest tightens as he stares at Jill with a heart filled with hatred and disdain. Why? Why not me? He whispers hoarsely, his voice cracking with despair. His mind swirls with dark thoughts of jealousy and betrayal, consumed by the crushing reality of Jill's affection for Perry. Jack's once gentle heart grows heavy and cold, the seeds of his infatuation slowly giving way to a growing obsession and an unquenchable desire for vengeance. He remains rooted in place, his eyes burning into the scene before him as the last remnants of the roses fall lifelessly to the ground. As Jack enters the store, Jill waves hello to Jack with an optimistic smile on her face. Jack's head hangs low as he hears his name clearly being called, and yet instead of meeting her eyes, he silently turns and slinks toward the nearest aisle. Cowering behind a tall shelf lined with vibrant flora, Jack's mind races. His heart pounds loudly against his chest, and despite the cool air inside Rose Paradise, he feels sweat beads forming on the back of his neck. It was all he could do to keep his face impassive. Every cell in his being was screaming at him to run. A muffled voice suddenly captures Jack's attention as he picks out the words, "What's wrong with him?" "Why did Jack ignore me?" Jill asks Perry, her voice tinged with genuine concern. The ache in Jack's heart redoubles as he thinks to himself, how dare she pretend to care about me? But just when Jack thought it couldn't get any worse, he hears Perry utter to Jill, "Don't mind him, beautiful, he's just a loser." The final words resound in Jack's skull like a sledgehammer to the brain. Loser, loser, each repetition stabs deep into his consciousness, carving scars into the raw core of his ego. He stares blankly ahead, unseeing, as the awful truth washes over him in icy waves. He is a loser. As if to further punctuate the devastation, an airy tinkle of giggles reaches Jack's ears next, light and free, Jill's unmistakable laugh. Unaware she giggles because Perry called her beautiful and not out of amusement at Jack's expense. Her mirth is like acid in his veins. He flinches violently as it echoes. Jack realizes his earlier crush has burned out, its gentle embers replaced by cold, hard fury. Jack mutters to himself, "That stupid, inconsiderate bitch, mocking me when I'm down." A series of perverse and cruel fantasies play in the eye of his mind. First, he imagines slamming the head of Jill repeatedly against a wall. Then he imagined the slender body of Jill laid naked and sprawled wantonly before him, sending a thrill of perverse arousal shuddering through Jack's loins. She would be so perfect, so delicate and vulnerable under his greedy hands and ravenous gaze. He imagined her smooth, creamy skin, the roundness of her pert breast, the flat expanse of her taut belly, the flare of her hips. He continued to think, what would I do with that body, if only I had one chance to take advantage of it fully? The possibilities make his head spin. He'd bind her wrists, stretch her out beneath him while he teased and tortured every responsive inch of flesh. He would play her like a well-strung instrument, forcing cries of pain and pleasure from her trembling lips, followed by Jack muttering under his breath as an ugly sneer contorted on his mouth. Then I'll make her the biggest slut in town. The lascivious daydreams are abruptly interrupted as a shadow falls across Jack, Jill materializing seemingly out of thin air behind him. Hey, Jack, she asks, blinking owlishly at him. Are you okay? Why did you ignore me before? Oh, sorry, Jack manages weakly, a cold sweat prickling his brow as he feigns nonchalance. I didn't hear you say hello, I guess. Jill notices how his eyes keep darting furtively between her face and her chest, but her smile only brightens as she shares her good news. No problem, you won't believe what happened. Perry asked me out? I'm going to his place tonight to watch a movie. She punctuates her glee by spinning in place, arms flung wide, hair swirling out behind her like some kind of carefree forest sprite. The sight of Jill giddy with joy only serves to stoke the furnace of Jack's internal rage. A movie night with Perry, yeah right? He knows exactly what kind of movie they'll really be watching. The thought of Perry's hands and mouth all over Jill, in all the places Jack himself has only ever dreamed of touching, makes him want to be physically ill. He glares daggers at her heedless spinning form, wanting nothing more than to shove her down and assert his own claim. Even so, a queasy flutter starts up in the pit of his gut the longer Jack watches Jill frolic and giggle, lost in her own bliss. Because despite the pain and betrayal flooding every pore, some small, ineffable part of him still wants her. Loves her even, and for one mad second, he wonders, what if? What if he still has a chance, no matter how slim? What's the worst that could happen? She's with Perry now anyway. The time to act is dwindling fast. Jill, wait. He calls out, suddenly desperate to be heard. She stops dead in her tracks, hair settling in waves around her shoulders as she cocks her head questioningly. What is it, Jack? His tongue seems to stick to the roof of his mouth. His mouth feels dry, but some primal instinct propels him forward nonetheless. He has to know, one way or the other. Do you like me, Jill? She looks momentarily taken aback, brows knitting in confusion, but then a look of such genuine, guileless affection blooms across her features it nearly knocks the wind out of him. Of course I like you, Jack. She exclaims, closing the distance between them and cupping one of his hands gently. In fact, her eyes bore directly into his as she holds his gaze. I love you. Hope swells and surges unchecked. Could it be? You do, naturally. She smiles with a sunny, oblivious smile and pats his cheek condescendingly, like a friend. Silly, followed by skipping off as she disappears from the view of Jack without a single backwards glance. Left in her dust, Jack stands rooted to the floor, entire body quaking with barely suppressed wrath. Something breaks deep inside him. On his mind, he vents with frustration. Enough. I have put up with her carelessness long enough. Jill and Perry both are going to rule the day they ever crossed me. The hours slip by, punctuated only by the rhythmic thwack of Jack's broom against the floor as he sweeps by the storefront window in a kind of stupor. A heavy knot churns sourly in the pit of his stomach, and a bile burns the back of his throat with each recollection of Perry's barbs. and the breezy callousness of Jill, his vision starts to tunnel, every sensation beyond his swirling thoughts muffled, like he's caught in a waking nightmare, until he finds his gaze dragged inexorably toward the store across the way, his mother's old place of work, back when she still had a reason to drag herself out of bed each morning. The sight tugs loose some half-forgotten childhood memory of her and her friends cackling like conspiratorial schoolgirls about some old hag they dubbed the Love Witch over afternoon cups of tea. Voices hush and reverent as they related tales of miracles wrought for the luckiest and wealthiest of besotted fools. He'd always tuned it out back then, more interested in comic books than talk of romance, but now suddenly he's off and moving without a moment's hesitation. Some base instinct seizing hold and propelling him across the street, brooms still clutched numbly in hand. This is it, this is my salvation, he thought to himself, the answer to all of my prayers. An opportunity practically dropped right into his lap by fate. On his mind he continued, if I could just buy one of Lucy's magic potions, I can make Jill fall in love with me for sure. She will never want Perry or anybody else ever again, she will only be mine. Jill has no clue about his intentions, as Jack envisions the glorious future once she belongs to him. For Jack, failure is no longer an option, as the wheels are finally set in motion. Upon entering the store, chills began to conquer the spine of Jack, his heart began beating faster with every brave step he took as it got him closer to his goal. Upon clutching his hand on the handle of that mysterious glass door, he began pulling it with a slow and determined mindset as the uncertainty overwhelmed every part of his being. Greeted by an old woman that smiled at him with no teeth, Jack immediately felt the creeps as she followed every inch of his movements with slow methodical moving pupils while keeping her charming toothless smile. Jack decided to ask while internally wanting to get the hell out of there, "Are you Lucy?" The old lady replied with the most joyful and creepiest chuckle, knowing full well what Jack was there for, but deciding to mess with him, responding to Jack while slowly pulling out a vial with a mysterious purple liquid out of the shelf behind the counter she stood near. One seeks the solutions of life, but to attain love, you must pay the price. This prompted Jack to desperately snatch the vial, followed by throwing all of his money at her. The old lady warned him in a very serious and stern tone in her voice, "My dear, one does not pay for this item with mere money." A condescending Jack asks with a cocky smile, "And what would you pay it for if it's not with money?" The old lady slowly turns to walk away, each slow step deliberate to creep Jack more than what he visibly already was as she disappears from Jack's view. As Jack returns to the Botanica store, he holds the vial near his face with a smile, assuring to himself that he will have Jill for himself tonight, when he suddenly realizes that the old lady never told him how to use the vial, as he mutters to himself. "That creepy old bitch never told me how to use this shit. Well, I guess I would just have to pour it on one of Jill's drinks. I better shower before the night shift is over. By the time I'm done, Jill and I will be all alone, and then I will strike." Jack sees Jill and quickly hides the vial on one of his pockets. A curious Jill catches a glimpse of the vial, prompting her to ask, "What is that, Jack?" Jack responds while playing innocent. "What was what?" Jill asked again. "That purple liquid container you just hid in your pocket." Jack begins to sweat nervously, responding quickly with the first thing that came to his mind. "Oh, it's just acne medicine." Jill dismisses her line of questioning and returns to the counter, doing small tasks like dusting, to keep herself busy. Jack walks towards the nearby shower inside the store while Jill stares at him with a serious look of concern. 3 hours have gone by and Jack comes out of the shower, followed by eventually dressing in a power suit and a black bow tie he stole from inventory. A confident Jack walks towards Jill just as she is adjusting her skirt to visit Perry for movie night. A desperate Jack stops her on her tracks as she's pulling on the glass door. "Wait, Jill, don't leave yet." Jill gazes at Jack with a serious and concerned expression on her face. "I have to leave, Jack. Make it quick." Jack does awkward hand motions while trying to find a way to convince Jill to stay with his words. You know, Jill, have we ever had a drink, you know? You and I as friends. An annoyed Jill manages to quirky respond to Jack to not hurt his feelings nor lose her composure. There are drinks in the freezer. The store is full of drinks, honey. Jack fake laughs to avoid embarrassment. Of course, but just one quick drink with your old buddy. Just one, please. Jill inhales loudly and deeply with exasperation and growing irritation. I'm sorry, Jack, but I have to go now. I promise I will drink barrels with you tomorrow, but right now I'm going to be late to see Perry, and I don't want him waiting too long for me. The true intentions of Jack are revealed as his sudden smile slowly turns into a cold and serious expression that matched the rhythm of the protection metallic door closing behind Jill. Jill warns Jack, knowing full well what is about to happen to her, as her heart rapidly increases with fearful beats. Jack sports a sadistic grin as he slowly walks towards Jill with a menacing gaze. Jill quickly turns towards the metallic door designed to trap robbers inside the store, crouching while attempting to open it, but it's too late as the door fully closes behind her with no options. Jill sees her life crumble before her as tears of desperation flood out of her eyes, quickly covering her already red face. With a wide, creepy smile that resembles the Grinch, Jack offers Jill the drink. Have a drink, Jill. Yell quickly refuses, shouting, no. Jack warns her, either you drink it, Jill, or I will make you drink it. Your choice, bitch. Jill asks Jack, why are you doing this? I thought we were friends, Jack replies. You see, Jill. That's the problem. We were just friends. I have dreamed about you for years, Jill. And now with this drink, you will be mine. Jill responds to Jack. You know what's funny, Jack? That I was actually going to give you a chance. I know full well the type of man Perry is. The second he slept with me, he was going to dump me and discard me like yesterday's newspaper, and when the time inevitably came, I was going to pursue you because I did like you. But listening to me, asshole, and listen very well because I won't fucking repeat this after this shit you are trying to pull. I will never ever date someone like you. I would rather eat needles for breakfast than to be seen with you. You are fucking pathetic, and open this fucking door before I slam your head against the counter and give you a week's worth of headaches. And hopefully brain damage if I'm lucky enough. Jack repeats himself while losing his patience. Drink it, Jill. Don't make me tell you again. Jill forms a cocky smile on her face. Or what? Are you going to force it down my throat? Jack quickly runs towards Jill, desperate to pour the drink down her throat while maniacally yelling, drink it, you worthless whore. All of a sudden, Jill snaps with a desperate scream of pure anger and frustration, followed by kicking Jack so hard in the groin that she would effortlessly qualify to be a soccer player. Jack falls to the ground, groaning out loud in pain while holding his crotch. Suddenly, loud and repeatable bangs are heard from behind the metal door. Jill, are you in there? Are you okay? It's Perry. Please tell me that you're okay, babe. Jill takes advantage of Jack being in pain and turns, followed by crouching, attempting to pull up the metal door while assuring to Perry that she was okay. I'm okay, babe. Just open this fucking door. This asshole is trying to force me into sleeping with him. Perry, with equal desperation, attempts to open the door while crouching, but his effort was in vain. Jack gets up with a furious look of frustration. Deciding to stop playing games and finish what he started, with determination he walks towards Jill with the vial in hand, determined to make Jill drink it if it was the last thing he did, through the fearful eyes of Jill. She sees Jack effortlessly pull out the cork from the glass container, making a sound similar to opening a bottle of wine, followed by running towards her in slow motion, suddenly remembering the happiest moments in her life, which in irony most of them were with him. As several thoughts crossed her mind, he might kill me, he might sexually assault me, I will never celebrate another birthday, I will never get married and have a family. With seconds away from achieving his sickening goal, Jack can smell victory. All of his dreams about to come true, until out of nowhere, the shoe of Jill slowly rises up as she lifts her leg towards the vial, while the wide-open mouth of a surprised Jack says everything without uttering a word, followed by Jill kicking the tiny glass bottle. As it flies away from the hands of Jack, both individuals witnessing as the glass container and its content fall inside a plant. Unaware of this, Jack runs once again towards Jill, darting his long tongue out to lick her neck. The whimpering of Jill echoes across the entire store. All seems lost for Jill when suddenly she feels a cold, hard object touch the smooth skin of her leg. When she manages to look down, she notices it's a crowbar and deduces Perry is still trying to open the door. Jack attempts ripping off her bra as they continue to struggle, while Jill attempts to crouch with the palm of her hand open near the floor. Jill can feel the warm breath of Jack, so close that she can smell what he ate for breakfast. The pupils of Jack shrink with a nightmarish look of lust as he is seconds away from ripping open her bra when out of nowhere the face of Jill changes from grief to one of pure determination and anger, followed by hitting Jack with a crowbar over the head, making a thud sound that echoed louder than a golf swing, followed by a confident Jill shouting, "A hole-in-one, motherfucker," followed by Jack staggering back with shattered glass lenses. Jack takes off his glasses and grabs a nearby bottle of wine from one of the aisles, followed by slamming the bottle against the same aisle. With a half-broken bottle in hand, Jack runs towards Jill once again, unaware that the plant where the purple liquid fell previously was a Venus flytrap plant that was growing immensely as it stood behind him. Suddenly, Jack began hearing a mysterious growl, turning around and witnessing the drooling 50-feet plant that towered over him with 1,000 teeth. Before Jack could react or process what was about to happen, the plant devoured Jack without mercy or hesitation, eliciting blood-curdling screams that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Perry manages to open the metal door slightly, just enough for Jill to roll down onto the outside as he embraced her in his strong arms. The scene shifts to the old lady Lucy with her charming toothless smile and the words she uttered. "I never told him what the vial was for. He should have never fucked with my niece."